Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce saying, Joyce, we had our first nominees, I feel like, of the year, the Gotham Awards.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Today's Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday. We're recording this on Wednesday. We just had them on Tuesday. Love it so much. We now have, I don't know, a data point, one data point.
Is it though?
Not really.
No, not really.
So a lot of movies, if you're over, I think it was a budget.
They changed it. It used to
35.
be 25 million, and now it's 35 to get everything everywhere all at once in there. Obviously.
Right. So they kind of fudged the numbers, but that still leaves a lot of movies on the out. So if you were looking for like any of these, I don't know, a lot of them are would not qualify. Fablemans or like White Noise.
Anything with a budget over 35 million.
There's a lot of movies, but not all of them, including Everything Everywhere, Joyce, and our new Film Twitter's new favorite movie, After Sun, which did extremely well.
I wouldn't say it's new. I think it has been their favorite movie for like 6 weeks.
I gotta say, we'll talk about, so the Gotham Awards, we'll just brief before we get into that. 5 nominations for Tar, 4 for After Sun. We'll do Best Feature, and then we could get into like a little bit. The After Sun was a nominee for Best Feature. The Cathedral, Dos Estaciones, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Tar. Those are the 5 movies for Best Feature. Now these are judged by Film Twitter people, it seems. A lot of the juries were
there are juries. It's in the press release. They list everyone. They're very transparent.
Yes.
So it's they usually the juries usually do like 2 categories. So it's like different groups of people for the categories, and then for the winner selection, it's another group of juries.
So the nominating committee for Best First Feature, if you're hearing that and we're like, I don't think that was good, here, direct your complaints to this group of people, including Justin Chang from the Los Angeles Times, K. Austin Collins from Rolling Stone, David Ehrlich from our Fowls IndieWire, Jessica Kiang from a freelance critic who's written for a bunch of places, and Allison Wilmore from Vulture. So they did Best Feature, and Best Screenplay, which I guess I could read off if I could scroll back up. We're not.
Screenplay, people were very upset about Everything Everywhere's snub there.
So it didn't get in there, but here are the movies that got in for Best Screenplay to give you a sense of what was eligible then for Best Feature that didn't get in there. And it seems like this group definitely spread the wealth, I would argue. After Kang, Armageddon Time, Catherine Called Birdie, Tar, and Women Talking were the nominees for Screenplay. So Women Talking didn't get a feature, but it got the screenplay. Armageddon Time, similar, screenplay, but not feature. So there you go. After Sun, not a screenplay nom, but first a breakthrough director nom for Charlotte Wells and the feature, and then 2 acting nominations for Frankie Corio and Paul Mescal. You're saying last 6 weeks, it is a popular pick. I got to say that premiered at Cannes, what do we call it now? Cannes. Premiered at Cannes, and people really liked it. And then it played at Telluride, and I saw it there. Solid movie. And then I feel like in the last 2 weeks, people are like, this is the greatest movie ever made. And it should get a stealth nomination for Best Picture, and it's going to be a big contender. Yeah,
well, that's because it opened last week too. Yes. So more people saw it. Yes. So that's why. But yeah, it's Film Twitter's favorite movie. So
there it was at the Gotham Awards. So anything here, Joyce? So obviously Everything Everywhere and Tar are the movies that we would say most seriously have Best Picture aspirations, assuming Everything Everywhere would be the favorite here and probably win. Not that we have to do Gotham.
I mean, again, a different group of people will be selecting the winners, like another group of 5 people. So who knows what their tastes are. So sure, you would probably lean Everything Everywhere or Tar, I would say. Yeah. But I just want to say, like no reason to overreact to any of these, because people love to overreact. Again, it's like juried, and a lot of films obviously are not eligible either.
Right.
So like it's good, like for like if you're like a fringe contender, I would say, and if you end up winning, it's good for visibility.
Correct.
But
so we were doing this
like for like Tar and like Everything Everywhere, it's like, okay, congratulations. It's just expected almost.
Yeah, it's just it's a way to say I got nominated for something, right? Like you said, a lot of times it's like great to be nominated or show you're winning something. Last year, if we didn't even, I barely just remember talking about these last year, because this is a list from last year. If you're like, what was nominated last year? The Lost Daughter, which won, Green Knight, Passing, Pig, and Test Pattern were the nominees. So not a lot of crossover there, Joyce, between the Oscars and the Gotham Awards.
No, I mean, like as expected, obviously, because of their budget limitations. And last year was also the first time they did their gender neutral categories.
And this year we have it again. So the nominees for lead performance, just one winner here, Joyce. I have issues.
Well, last year they had 2 winners. They had a tie last year.
So they had a tie. Maybe they'll have a tie again. But this year there's just one winner, and I don't even think there's a runner-up pick like the LA film critics are doing. I think
I don't know what they're doing over there. Like just chaos.
So it just is like one person, I guess, will win here for lead performance. But the nominees were Cate Blanchett for Tar, Oscar favorite there. Danielle Deadwyler for Till. Dale Dickey for A Love Song, which I think was at Sundance and people really liked. Colin Farrell, not for Banshees, but for After Gang.
Banshees of Inisherin ineligible because it's nominated in international feature, but it's ineligible for these regular categories.
Right. I love a confusing rulings. Love it. It's great.
No, I mean, like totally valid. You want it to be American production, but they still found a way to nominate Colin Farrell, which is all that matters.
Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, Thandie Newton for God's Country, Aubrey Plaza for Emily the Criminal. Joyce, I've been watching the White Lotus screeners. Are you on?
I have not started those, no.
I gotta say, great show. Aubrey Plaza, love her so much. So if this is Emily the Criminal, maybe I'll check it out. I have not seen it, I gotta say. Taylor Russell for Bones and All, which I love.
My favorite movie.
She's awesome in it. And then Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
So if we had a tie here, I think it would be a 3-way tie between Cate Blanchett, Danielle Deadwyler, and Michelle Yeoh.
I mean, that would definitely happen at the Critics' Choice Awards. Well, last year it was Olivia Colman and Frankie Faison. So, no, like they'll go with one.
This is an interesting. I would love to. This is like a fun exercise. I don't know, but like putting up like Kate versus Brendan Fraser. We haven't seen The Whale, but I'm like, it is fun to think of like all of them just competing against each other for the one great performance of the year.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like my thing with gender neutral categories is like I'd rather like if you're gonna do them, just have 5 nominees. I don't need this 10 nominees stuff.
Or do 2 winners, I guess.
No, I don't need 2 winners, but just do like the 5 nominees and 1 winner. Because they're trying everyone's trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Right.
Like it's not separated by gender now, but we're just gonna expand it from 5 to 10 because then there's no reason for feature and screenplay and director to not have 10 either, Right.
Everything should be 10, right? If you're going to do it. And then supporting performances, Joyce, I got to say a lot of these I was like hyped for, especially one because I was like, oh, look, I feel like vindicated a little. But you could also because you got one in here too. But Jessie Buckley for Women Talking, Raul Castillo for The Inspection, Hong Chow for The Whale, Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway, Nina Haas for Tar, Nomi Merlant in Tar. That was one I was psyched for because she is awesome in the movie. And I know she disappears and Nina comes in, but I really did think that she could be
Nina came in before she disappears.
Right, that's true. Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Mark Rylance for Bones and All, Gabrielle Union for The Inspection, and Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. So they went with 2 women talkings. They still went 1 man and 1 woman instead of Claire Foy or Judith Ivey or any of these other women in the supporting category. That I found a little surprising.
Yeah. So I guess, if you're like a Claire Foy fanatic, you could be freaking out, but I would say don't.
None of these I think are freaking out level. For me, it's not even the only thing I would say about this is like, it's just like I said, it's good to get nominated for something. And if people are like, oh, like people like Nomi Merlant or Brian Tyree Henry here or Raul Castillo and Gabrielle Union, who had some light buzz around them, but maybe now that they're nominated for something, at least one person would say, oh boy, I better check that out. Or I got to reconsider my thoughts on this, right? Like that's what you'd hope at least.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess like if you are going to try to read into like Claire's snub, because everyone's still kind of like, oh, it's going to be her or Jessie. Like, most people, including us, are predicting both of them to get into Oscars, but then it's like, there be a consensus between the 2 of them. So you could use this to be like, oh, it might be Jessie.
And I thought like,
I would still, again, it's still like 5 people selecting this. So
yes, let's see who we could call out there on that group. So lead supporting performances were Robert Daniels, film critic for RogerEbert.com, John Frosch, reviews editor for Hollywood Reporter, Tim Grierson, Thomas Lafley, and Brian Tallarico. So there you go. Yeah. That's a good group. I mean, these are all good people. So it's like, this is fun.
Yeah. And I mean, last year, this is where Troy Kotzer started his
it's true
win streak. because he won this in a bit of an upset, really. I mean, not he was like kind of low key for a while. Like everyone was just like, loved him in it. Like, could he get in? Just hovering in that like bubble area. So this was like his first like big award in quotes,
I definitely think I took him more seriously after he won this.
Yeah. But I also remember last year remember Mass?
Yes.
Last year, and how everyone tried so hard to make that happen. The only Mass actor they Gotham nominated last year was Reed Birney, our fave Succession guest star.
Great actor. Love him so much. He's also in The Menu, Joyce, which I haven't seen yet, but I know you saw.
I have seen that, and he's great in it. He has a big moment in it.
Great. I can't wait. I mean, if I don't know who, like, I guess if you're looking at this and like who would win here, who would be like the Troy Kotzer of the supporting list? Maybe Gabrielle Union, I think, could end up, if Gabrielle Union wins something, all of a sudden I think she'd be like a very serious contender. I've not seen the inspection, but all the reviews out of like, I guess New York for sure, were like that she is, it's a really great transformative performance and something we haven't seen from her before. And she is such a beloved, I feel like, Hollywood figure that you could see an easy campaign mounting around that, right? Like I could see that happening.
I would actually, if you're not gonna count like Jesse Hong and
No.
Ke Huy Quan and like Ben Whishaw, like the expected people,
Yeah,
or even like Nina Haas, I would say Brian Tyree Henry, and that's not just because I just saw Causeway today.
So I think he's another one who I would say, again, great reviews out of the TIFF, a beloved actor who feels like,
I think I've said this before, like he's someone like people are waiting to nominate.
Yes,
with the right vehicle.
And he was amazing in, I mean, he had like nascent buzz, I feel like, for Beale Street when that was around, but he just had the one scene and kind of like hard to get in for one.
Did not really care about Beale Street outside of
real shame. Beale Street is so good, Joyce.
I know, and the score, for tell.
The score is amazing. Everything about it is a level up, I feel like, for Moonlight. Honestly, it's so good. Barry Jenkins did such a great job, and just nobody cared about it except for Regina, who rightly won. But oh man, what a great movie! It's so good. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, but Brian is really great in Causeway, and yeah, I mean, like J-Law didn't get in lead.
Right.
So, and it's just, he has a couple of really good scenes. Obviously, I think all of his scenes are opposite her in the movie. But yeah, it's just a really subtle, affecting performance, and I love like effortless performances, and like this movie is full of them. And if you watch that movie, it's in limited release this Friday, and then it hits Apple next Friday.
Yes.
I think you would be really taken by both of them.
I'm seeing it on Friday. We're recording this on Wednesday. I'm excited now. I'm excited to hear.
And it's only 92 minutes, guys.
Love Brian Tyree Henry. He's having a great year. He's on Atlanta, obviously. He's so good on Atlanta. I just love him on Atlanta. And he was great in Bullet Train, which is a fun movie. He's so good in that as well. He's just a great actor. And like you said, I think people are waiting for the right moment. And it's early. I mean, like we've been focused on like a lot of the same folks, right? From the same movies for this category, supporting actor. It would be tough. Like it's probably tough nowadays to be a lone nominee, right? Because of how everything
that's
is.
My hesitation in predicting him for the Oscars right now, because we've seen what happened to J-Lo with Hustlers, but you could also blame that with like people being snobs and not taking J-Lo seriously. Right. But then last year it happened to Ruth Negga, a former nominee.
Sure.
Great reviews. She was also nominated at Gotham for Passing, right? Yeah, she won like a bunch of stuff, and she got in at SAG of all places. Right. And she was definitely going to be a lone nominee and was snubbed in the end. So
yeah, it's tough. I mean, like that's why. I mean, if he wins this, then I guess maybe then people start taking it seriously. But it is difficult to imagine a lone nominee. It's not fair. It feels like a lot of this is like the Emmys, right? Where it's like they've watched 3 shows.
There's too many things, and it's like you need the visibility of your film too, or your project.
Right. So the hope is that like because it's on Apple, people watch it. I would say like another person I'd like flag here as like a possibility is Mark Rylance in Bones and All, not just because it's my favorite movie, but I'm like. It's a strange, just really big swing. He is so ridiculous in the movie and also really scary and like really just doing a thing.
But that's another one where I'm like, they need to watch it. And I could see some people just completely ruling it out.
Yes, I think that's true. And that's the risk. But if they do watch it, I think I feel like I honestly think he was like in the 5 to 12 range last year for Don't Look Up, even though I don't think that was like the most widely liked performance. And this is just so much better. And I think his performance is so much better. I don't know. I just could see him like there could be an enthusiasm for him, or like if the movie had another nomination, it could be like again, they have to watch it, but like score, there's like other possibilities for nominations. Screenplay maybe is adapted screenplay or whatever. But those are the people I would look at here. And if one of them actually won, because really, I mean, who would be the favorite here to win in this Gotham list of actors? Jesse Buckley.
But before we get to that, like I feel like with Mark Rylance, who I love, but ever since he won, like we've all been trying to get him the sophomore nomination with like we just keep predicting him for stuff and he doesn't get in, like for Dunkirk, which I don't really think he was getting in for that, but you know, he was like the prediction for everyone as like the acting representative. And Trial of Chicago 7. And like you said, Don't Look Up. So it's like we're just like trying to make him happen for like the sophomore.
I feel like of those, Dunkirk would have been the most easy one to predict because the movie was like an obvious Best Picture nominee and stuff, but like, or contender. But yeah, this one is good.
But yeah, this I could see Ke Huy Quan winning. I could see Hong Chau winning.
I could see that happening too. I think Ke Huy Quan would be like the favorite, I guess.
Yeah.
People, I mean, the enthusiasm around him is just,
he has a great story,
unrivaled at this point, and I feel like he has got to be the favorite because of that. One person I saw who was not nominated here, Joyce, which I knocked him out of my list, was Jeremy Strong. Not because of the Gotham Awards, but I just had to give up the ghost.
Oh, so you updated your Oscar prediction?
I did update them.
Who did you replace them with?
Here, let me look. I'm gonna look now. Hang on.
Actually, I should. I was thinking about putting in Barry Keoghan, so I think I'm gonna do that.
I did actually put in Barry Keoghan for mine. So while we're on this subject of supporting actor,
here, doing a live update right now.
I have Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, and I have him winning. I have Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere, and I have him second, though I could see him winning very easily. And I'm not going to hold myself to these picks here on October 26th. Paul Dano for Fabelmans, I still think could get in. I took out Judd Hirsch as well. I think it's hard to get in with the one scene. I just do.
Yeah, I don't. So I might drop him to get Barry in.
And then I have Eddie Redmayne and Barry Keoghan. Eddie would be a lone nominee too, so he's got to be like close to the bottom for me. I just think it would be a tough beat, but I'm just sticking with the idea that no one campaigns like Eddie Redmayne. Loves it. Oh my God, he loves it, Joyce. He is so excited to do it. It's not even like phony. He just absolutely loves it.
No, we talked about this. Was it last week?
Yes, he loves it.
Like he genuinely loves this.
He genuinely loves it. And I think people respond to him in ways that they don't do other actors. And I do think it's a good performance. So I don't know. I have him in and I have Barry Keoghan in. I think Banshees could get the 2 nominations there.
Okay, so I'm going to make 2 changes right now.
Let me hear.
Okay, so I was going to drop Brad Pitt for Barry, but then I would have double Fabelmans and double Banshees, and then Ke Huy Quan, which would be wild. Right. So I'm dropping Brad. So I have Barry in now. And I'm also going to drop Judd, and I'm going to put in Ben.
Wow.
So I know, twist.
Ben back in.
I don't even know if I had him in. Maybe I did. Maybe like 2 months ago I did, but sure. Yeah. I don't know. Because like Barry is like half of a hope prediction, but I do think like he can happen if people watch the movie and love, like, because he probably has the most heartbreaking scene in the movie. Barry, opposite Kerry Condon.
He's amazing in the movie. I mean, like I said this to one of my friends, it's absolutely the first performance of his that I've unequivocally loved. Like he plays like not the most likable characters often, or like, I think he was like little, like it's just so charming, I think, in this performance. He's just incredibly likable. Yeah.
So, and like, the movie opened in limited over the weekend and did really well too. So I think I'm gonna have Banshees as my double supporting. I still have Ke Huy Quan in first because I think he could end up being sort of like Troy, just like the likable guy that like everyone loves, and he could end up being like the locked acting win of the year, because we have no idea what's happening in supporting actress and actor and actress. We could have a mix of winners and like all the precursors too, but I feel like he could be like the one constant.
I think that's probably accurate, and I don't think it would be wrong. The other thing is that it's not a lead performance, but he's obviously like in it a lot. You know, it's not like a fraud, but like he's the male lead of the movie at the very least, right? And like he is gets to do a lot, and the story is irresistible. I mean, he's so charming. There was a New York Times article we were talking about, I think not last week, but maybe on Slack, and how everybody just really loves him. And
well, yeah, because he has like multiple narratives going on, because obviously it's the comeback too, but then the nostalgia factor, like he's part of people's childhoods like ours.
I actually put on last night when I watched a movie, and then I had some time before I fell asleep, and I was like, I saw Goonies was on HBO Max, and I threw it on, and it's great. Goonies, I still think it's good. I don't know, people hate it now, I guess, or
I haven't watched Goonies in a while, but I watched it a few times when I was younger.
I watched it when I was younger, and it's like a lot of it is like so ingrained, but he's great. It's like so just very charming and winning, and all the kids, I'd say he is like he's certainly the most professional. I guess it's like, like Corey Feldman, God love him, and like is not like they're like kid act. It's like they are kids and they're acting, but like he feels like he's really the most professional of the kids. I just found his performance like really natural in a way that I think you see in Everything Everywhere too. He just has a charisma on screen that feels very authentic.
Yeah, and then he has a lot of very just emotional moments too. And then, he has like the line of the movie that everyone loves as well. So it helps to be a meme sometimes. So
yeah. So and I mean, like you mentioned Troy, I think it's like the moments, I think that people like the emotional moments and like the stuff that Troy won with last year is like the scene with like him on the truck with Amelia. And that is a moment I think people really remembered, for regardless of like the comedy of the performance or whatever. It was like that scene basically won him an Oscar.
Made them cry, yeah.
Right. And it's like, I think we could see the same thing here. So maybe I'll switch him. I just said I have Brendan. Maybe I'll switch by the time we're done with this all. Brendan in second. Sorry, Brendan Gleeson, if you're watching this. I have no backbone.
So have you, after this, did you put Naomi Merlant in?
No, I have. So
you didn't overreact.
I didn't put Naomi Merlant in. Right now I have for supporting actress, and we have I have Carey Mulligan still in first. I just think that, again, I'm not sure. I think she said it's going to be like a big latecomer. I don't know. It has like, I just think people, when they see it more, are going to respond to it. Everyone I've talked to has seen it, actually has really liked it. Same. And is like surprised they liked it.
2 people, but
but the other thing is that they're surprised they like it, and I often think that helps, because if your expectations aren't like, it's better to be like, wow, that was great, and be like, oh man, I'm a little disappointed. And I think the lower expectations based on the first trailer or so,
or just like the premise in general, like when it was announced, a lot of people were very just kind of
raised eyebrow maybe of Hollywood like making a movie about this.
Not totally excited, let's say.
Right. And then like the first trailer, I think, was not the best foot forward for what the movie is, I would argue, diplomatically.
It's hard to cut trailers.
It is. And then to see the movie and be like, wow, this is awesome. So I do think, and I think Carey Mulligan, again, has a great narrative, and people like similar, like maybe even a level up from what we were talking about with Brian Tyree Henry. I feel like people want to have Carey Mulligan win an Oscar. So,
I mean, do you mean, because I feel like with Brian, it's like fans, and I get a sense it's also like the industry too. Like he's got, he's a Tony and Emmy nominee.
Yeah.
But with Carey, I'm not sure. Like, love her, but I feel like it's very much, like film Twitter definitely wants her to win an Oscar.
Film Twitter wants her to win an Oscar, but I think people really like her though in the industry. I don't know. I could be wrong. I have no idea. I don't know anybody in the industry, Joyce. Do you know anybody? I don't know anybody famous, but you're right. I think there is like a more acclaim for Brian because of like his other nominations and his cross medium thing. And then I have Jamie Lee Curtis, Joyce, Gold Derby fan, Jamie Lee Curtis.
She is going for it. She's not going to be coy. Okay.
literally is going for it.
Not gonna be coy.
Like that, she is embodying the actual "she's running" meme, Joyce, for this.
Consider her, please.
Consider she's. I mean, I would not be. Maybe her put her down. You know, Vanity Fair does these things, or even actors on actors with Variety, where they put two people together. Put Melissa Leo and Jamie Lee together. I don't even know if they've ever met.
What does Melissa even have? Nothing. Melissa's promoting nothing. No, she should do like her interview magazine with Melissa.
Be great.
Melissa will interview her. That's what should happen.
Here's what she wrote. She shared on one of our Gold Derby articles, Joyce. I'm not going to play coy. I've been doing this a long time. When I say these emphases, that is all caps.
This is on Instagram.
Yes. We all want to be seen and acknowledged for our work. We are artists. I love Everything Everywhere, the movie, and the artists who made it. We love that you supported the work and the art and the message and the meaning, that it lifted you and us, that it is about something we are all in for the long run. And whatever happens in the future, it is important and we are open to it. And the article was 5 reasons why Jamie Lee Curtis could and should earn her first Oscar nomination. I have her in second. I mean, like, I definitely think she's going to go far.
Where is she?
Like, in the odds?
Yeah. What was anyone? Did it change in the last 24 hours after she posted this?
Let's take a look. Hang on.
Because I know she was in 6th place last week.
So
she just surged after her Halloween Ends press tour.
Right.
When she basically
she's in 6th still in the combined odds, behind Hong Chow and Stephanie Sue, Carrie Condon, Claire Foy, and Jessie Buckley. And then Carrie Mulligan is in 7th. So I have 6th and 7th winning, basically. But for the expert, let's see what that's in combined. I want to see if the experts have been swayed or they're still a little slow on the uptake, Joyce. They update their picks. She's in 4th among experts, which feels like it's rising.
I mean, you know, I love that she's just shamelessly going for it. Like, honestly, we need more of this. Like far too much these days. Everyone's like, they are playing coy about it, right? It's like, oh, I didn't know the nominations were this morning. It's like, oh, you know, like, sure, like, I don't pay attention to that. But like when we did like Oscars playback, like over the summer, a lot of the winners were thrilled to win.
We talked about that.
When people win, they're just like so demure about it. You know?
We talked about that with a few. I remember Jeremy Irons being one where he was like psyched. I think, and Kathy Bates also was like I think it was the same ceremony, and they were both very, very excited.
And like we need more of that. It's like, you know, you should be proud of your work and want recognition.
And Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously an incredible Hollywood icon, has roots, Hollywood family, obviously. Yeah, I think if you get the narrative out there that she's never been an Oscar nominee, which people probably know, but maybe they didn't remember, and she's got this really fun performance in the movie where she's actually, with most of her scenes, with the Best Actress, like a lock for a nomination, probably. I mean, I feel like I would be shocked if Michelle doesn't get nominated, though I've seen some people suggest that maybe she could be like left out because of a lack of enthusiasm. I don't believe that.
No, I think it's very clear that people love this movie. So Jamie can definitely be a coattail. We haven't even mentioned how Stephanie Sue was not nominated at Gotham, but again, 5 people.
I do think that I've moved Stephanie Sue out. I had them both in and I've moved her out. I think she's the best performance in the movie, I would argue. No offense to anybody in the movie, but she is my favorite performance in the movie. And she has to do a lot of the heavy emotional lifting because it's really about her character's relationship with Michelle. But I think based on based on a couple of things, I would say I would have her 4th out of the 4 for a potential nomination, just because of the other factors that go into it beyond the performance, because you're talking about like the narrative or the like status in Hollywood with like someone like Jamie Lee Curtis or Michelle Yeoh, who have been like doing work for years and like acclaimed work and never nominated. I just wonder, can Stephanie Sue get in when she is like a relative newcomer for a lot of people, even though she's been acting for a long time?
She is a SAG winner for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yes. Yes.
Fun fact, I do not have any of those 3 people we just talked about in, because I made no changes to supporting actors, even though I've considered putting Carrie in, but I don't know who I would drop for it, because I have double women talking. I don't want to drop Hong Chow or Carrie Condon or my girl Nina Haas.
So you got to keep Nina Haas because you have her 100-1, but I dropped her.
So.
And I'm on the precipice of dropping Claire Foy, but I really don't know who else I would put in at the moment. I do think the consensus is going to come around Jessie only because she was a nominee. Like, it's like kind of like she's a nominee now. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I was like, it's not that like I want to drop the wrong one. It's just like there are just valid reasons for both of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I mean, who knows who's wrong or right now, but it's just like, Claire has like the louder performance. And I do think, a lot of people, like, since she was snubbed for First Man, a lot of people want her to be nominated for this too. So that's like partially hope dicting as well. I mean, she's great in the movie too.
She is. I guess the argument I would have is that if you didn't nominate her for First Man, it's in the same zip code, the performance.
Yeah, what was her line in First Man? Like, you're just
you're just a bunch of boys or something, right? Like, so I feel like it's very, very, very similar performance, and at least on the surface level, right? Like, if you're just like half-ass paying attention. So I could see her not getting in. The other person I've been trying to figure out how to squeeze in, this is only because the people have seemed very excited about their performance, is Janelle Monáe for Glass Onion.
I think I might have her at the Globes.
I think I have her also at SAG.
Maybe it's SAG. I don't know. I haven't looked at those in a while.
But I mean,
I don't have any Glass Onion acting nominations. I don't even have it in Best Picture because I dropped it last week.
I have it in Best Picture, and I'm pretty confident that it will get in there. And
I wanted to put it back, but I guess I would need to drop Triangle of Sadness to do it.
Yeah, I moved on from that one. I think I will say here's the difference between, I mean, we were mentioning After Sun before. I think it's really interesting. Triangle of Sadness out of Cannes was like, it won the Palme d'Or, obviously. And I feel like everyone was, at least my impression was, man, people really loved it, right? Like, it was like one that immediately was like, oh, we got to pay attention to this as like the Cannes slot for the Oscars and Ruben Östlund and this and that. And After Sun had solid reviews. I knew it premiered there. But then now that we've gone through like the fall, I've heard more people like very mixed on Triangle of Sadness and After Sun through the roof. So it just is interesting thinking of like how the audience, like whatever it is, I don't know, as people see these movies more, there does seem to be like a little bit of a shift in the thing,
Well, yeah, because like the more people see something, obviously there will be more opinions,
right.
And then it's also kind of like who's the loudest too,
right? Well, Film Twitter right now for
some people don't share their opinions after they see a movie.
We don't. I try not to.
Yeah,
unless
I don't.
Really love it. The only thing I share my opinion on, Joyce, is how much I hate the Yankees. I've tweeted so much about the Yankees.
Are we gonna like go on a Yankee detour right now?
No, I don't need to, but I'm just surprised my account hasn't been like locked or marked for spam by somebody yet. Because it's just all day I'm just trashing them, and they're silly fans.
You have a burner too, obviously.
I don't actually. Should I have one? I guess I probably should, so I could really get
Yankees burner. No, there was something. I was just there was like something in like one of like my old tweets popped up like the other week, and it was like about the Mets, and obviously, it was like about 86, and I was like, I don't need to be reminded of this right now.
A great franchise and a great team filled with great players.
Yeah, so, that was like the Metsiest ending of a season of all time, so we knew that was going to happen.
But we don't tweet about. I try not to tweet about the movies and stuff. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't have Triangle of Sadness.
That was our baseball detour.
Yeah, you can fast forward.
Like the World Series canceled. Obviously, we don't need to follow that at all this time. But what were we even talking about?
We were talking about
Triangle of Sadness. Oh, so I feel like now I mean, I still have it in screenplay. I could see it getting in there too. I wouldn't rule out a directing nomination for him either, but I feel like now a lot of the conversation has also shifted to Donnie DeLeon for supporting actress, who's great. But I also feel like I don't have her in, obviously, since I just said I didn't change anything. Like I feel like she could be just another like Film Twitter thing too. But I could see her winning some like critics prizes.
Yeah, I can see that too.
So yeah.
I do have Triangle of Sadness in original screenplay as well, even though I don't have it in for anywhere else. But I'm just having a tough time with original screenplay. It is
original screenplay has like a top 6, a really solid top 6, and then it's just like off a cliff.
So I have it in over Babylon because I'm still not sure what Babylon will be.
Yeah, I don't have Babylon either. So since I just dropped Brad Pitt, I think I only have Babylon right now above the line in picture and director.
So I almost dropped it in director. I did make a change there too, Joyce. I put the Daniels in.
Oh, I've had them in.
And I took out Todd Field.
Interesting.
So I feel like in our odds, the top 5 are Spielberg, Sarah Polley, Damien Chazelle, the Daniels, and Todd Field, and Martin McDonagh is 6th. To me, Martin McDonagh should be like 2nd. I do think
I know I want to put him in too, but I haven't done
so
it.
I have him in, and I have Field out, though I could see Field getting in over Chazelle. I'm just not sure. Here's my impression of Tar. I've anecdotally and actually in person, at least one person, talked to people who are of the older group who do not like the movie. Just straight up don't like it, don't understand it, don't understand what the point is.
I think older, like some, I wouldn't say all, but like some older people might not understand it.
I talked to one a venerated longtime critic, I will not say who, this is a New York Film Festival, and this person is a lovely person and was like did not understand the movie and did not think it was very good. And I was talking about my take, which is that I think the movie knows that Lydia is bad at being a composer and conductor, and that like it's an indictment not just of her but of like the whole world, and it's a very cynical movie. And they were like, that's actually would make the movie a lot more interesting. So I was like, thank you, Todd Field, I'm helping you out here. But so I don't know, I'm having heard that at least once or twice, and even like Richard Brody obviously famously like trashed it in the New Yorker,
famous contrarian,
but he did not like it. I am like, is this the slam dunk movie for an older Academy member that I had expected? Because it felt like one that was like a no-brainer because of just the subject and the acting and all these different components. But I'm like, maybe it actually is, like we've talked about how Everything Everywhere might be polarizing for that group of older voters. But I'm like, maybe Everything Everywhere is just like, there are certain things in it certainly that I think an older person would be like, what in the hell? Why is there a dildo here, a butt plug statue or whatever it is? But maybe would be like wrapped up in the story and the emotions. And maybe Tar, they're like, what is this? And I'm not connecting with it. I have no idea, but I'm just like, if there's a world where Tar kind of gets dinged, maybe it's Todd Field here for one of these other 5. Though I don't know if Damien is like if Babylon doesn't work, I think I would put Todd Field right back in.
I don't think they would. Like I don't think the loss would come in director, because like they're so highbrow here anyway,
right,
with like their choices and their snubs.
But I feel like all of these are high. I'm like, this is the problem too, is like aren't a lot of these highbrow? I mean, like the Daniel, would you say the Daniels are highbrow or no?
I wouldn't say that's highbrow just because of like the genre of it. I like it's inventive, but it's like that's not a traditional movie,
right,
by any means. So yeah, like I don't know, because like I know more regular people who've seen Everything Everywhere than Tar, which opens wide this weekend, so we'll see how it does to a general audience. But like honestly, like every regular person I know who's seen Everything Everywhere, wide age range, like people my age, older people too, like they just think it's fine. Like no, I don't know. I don't personally know anyone who loves that movie like the internet does.
So I 100% same.
People do too.
That's actually true. My wife loved it. She was like my wife, an author, Joyce. I don't know if you know this. Wrote a book.
Tell me more about her book coming out.
It's about Bring It On. You can order it on Amazon. It comes out in December. Case Wickman wrote it, if you're Googling. And she loved the movie. She really loved Everything Everywhere. And I thought it was fine. And then most of the people I've talked to have thought it was fine. No one, and this is another reason why I think it will go very far and could be our best picture winner in the end. No one I know dislikes it. It is a very consensus.
Yeah, like no, like none of them hated it, but it was just like, you know, the effusiveness that if you go online, you see
Letterboxd.
Letterboxd's
favorite movie.
Like my real circle, not that that means anything. It was like they were just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, and I like literally like 2 weeks ago I was talking about this with my friend who had seen it, and then and I don't know, we were just like talking about like the Oscars, or like it just came up that way, and then he was like shocked that it was even in a conversation
Right.
for the Oscars. Like he was like totally fine with like Top Gun being in a conversation, but he was like, really, like Everything Everywhere? Like,
I mean, yeah, it is though. It's a
Yeah.
top contender. It's gonna get like 10 nominations, Joyce, and multiple acting nominations.
it just depends on what they like. So they seemingly like this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a fun movie, and I'm all for originality, so it could definitely win original screenplay.
so I think that it could too, but I guess we'll see. And I'm like here, any other moves I made? Best actress we've talked about a lot.
Best actress, I did nothing
Same.
to. I did nothing to actress or actor. Did you?
Man, I still have Tom Cruise in there for actor. I don't know what to do here. I think there's now another renewed push for Hugh Jackman in The Sun. He got a variety cover, I believe, today.
Cover today, yes.
You know, I don't know. I'll tell you what, a Paul Mescal or an Adam Sandler, I'm not counting them out. Adam Sandler's doing the work for Hustle, Joyce, on Netflix now.
We didn't even like mention this as part of the Gotham Awards. He's getting a tribute.
He's getting a tribute at the Gotham Awards. Michelle Williams as well.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler, we're recording this on Wednesday. I'm unfortunately not able to attend. They're doing screenings tonight where a Q&A with Adam and Drew Barrymore and then Jimmy Fallon.
I was like, it's two different ones.
Two different ones. And then he did one early, I think on the West Coast with Henry Winkler. People love Adam Sandler. And I don't think this is going to get an Oscar nomination, but I think it could show up at the Globes. I definitely think that. I feel like.
Did you put him in the Globes?
I did.
Okay.
Let me take a look.
Speaking of Globes, do you know who I need to put in, or I should put in? Ticket to Paradise.
So we both saw Ticket to Paradise. I'll tell you what, I updated Ticket to Paradise, and I updated my Globes with, let me just hear a quick look. Hang on.
I don't know if I'll put it into picture, but I'll probably, maybe I'll put in Julia and George. I don't even know. Who do I have? I don't know.
I did not, let me see. So I saw it last week. I did not put it in picture. I did put in Julia. And I did not put in George somehow, but I'm going to do that right now because, sorry, I'm doing it.
But like George was your favorite.
I know. I don't know why I didn't have him in.
Why?
I thought I updated it and I guess I didn't save it maybe because I did think I had him in.
Okay, I'm putting in George and Julia. I don't care. Whatever.
So I had them all in. My Globes actor and actresses in the comedy musical Joyce are, I think the correct term would be unhinged. I'll read them off to you here very quickly before we have to wrap up. For comedy musical actress, I have Michelle Yeoh, Margot Robbie, Emma Thompson, Julie Roberts, and Leslie Manville for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
I have the same thing, right? Michelle, Margot, Emma, Leslie, and Julia.
And then for actor, this would be the greatest Oscar category. They would never, but this would be it. Colin Farrell winning, Daniel Craig for Glass Onion, Tom Hanks for A Man Called Otto, Adam Sandler for Hustle, and George Clooney for Ticket to Paradise. Hell yeah. Now that is a list of actors. Let's do it.
Wow. I have Colin, Daniel Craig, Diego Calva, Adam Driver for White Noise, who I do not remember putting in at all. But apparently I did.
Take that one
and
out,
now George. But you know who I do want to put in? Ray Fiennes.
For The Menu.
From The Menu.
I still haven't seen him. See you next week. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Love George in this movie is so amazing. I don't think the movie is particularly great.
It's totally fine. We talked about this in our column last week. It's like a total like middle of the road. Like in like it'll never be in like the top tier of Julia's canon. And George has, he has One Fine Day, which is far superior.
It felt to me like they are undiminished from their heyday as performers, but they're working with the script that would have been a Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
this is very rude to How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is one of my faves.
It just, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is not the A-list script for the A-list movie stars.
No. And it like, after seeing it, it was also kind of like, because they talked about like how like the script was really what like drew them to the project to want to work together again, And I was like, really? Okay, sure. Like there is some like, fun lines in there, here
It's
and there.
funny. I mean,
Yeah.
if what drew them is the script is we get to bicker and then like get back together. Spoiler alert for Ticket to Paradise.
Oh my God, no one's ever seen a rom-com before.
I would say great because they get to bicker and they're really fun, like bickering. It a lot of their like their antagonisms reminded me of like those great scenes, like the electric scenes of them in Ocean's 11 when they're like at each other's throats, basically. I really enjoyed that, and I think they do that really well. And Julia specifically does that really well. I mean, like one of her biggest flops was like I Love Trouble with Nick Nolte, which seemingly was like a very troubled production, and they are like oil and water together. But man, I really like that movie. I think it was written by who wrote that movie, Joyce? Nancy Myers, I believe. Let's take a look.
Oh, yeah, no, with Charles, right? Yeah.
Right, Charles wrote it and Nancy wrote it with him. So it's like got that kind of, it is like a good script, and it's like very funny and like a screwball throwback to like The Thin Man or whatever. And George and Julie do that really well, and Julie does that really well. So it's like all getting to do all of that is great. But the movie script is just kind of like, it just could be slightly funnier, I think. I don't know. But I'm got in for Globes. Let's go for the Globes. Winning everything.
I mean, this is always going to be a Globes play, honestly.
Yeah.
We know that. But it was just, it's, like they're just luminous separately and together, and you just can't buy that chemistry.
No. Even the incredibly forced outtakes at the end are funny, Joyce.
Yes. Yeah. The blooper reel at the end.
The blooper reel at the end has one part where it's another spoiler alert, but they do bloopers at the end of this. Haven't seen that in a mainstream movie in quite a while. And a stewardess, an actress playing a stewardess, like knocks into George, and Julia says, "It's okay, we could always get another one." It's great.
So
just
many
so
George
funny.
needs to go around.
Just so good.
And really shout out to Lucas Bravo, who was hilarious.
Yeah, and I thought Caitlin Deaver's really fun too. I don't think she looks like she's in her own right, obviously. I'm not like, she just doesn't look like she would be Julia and George's daughter to me.
But according to Julia, she looks like her.
I don't see it. I just don't see it.
No
knock on Caitlin
Deaver. The main couple, like, I didn't really care about that plot line, like their relationship, with Caitlin's character.
No, but I will say I was impressed at the movie. At one point in the movie, I was like, this is gonna fall into that like relatively annoying rom-com trap where it's like they're gonna focus a lot on that couple that you don't really care about. Like, no offense, this is like, we came to see Julia and George. We did not come to see Caitlin Deaver and her fiance. And I was like, this movie is gonna be like way too much about them. And then it wasn't. It was just about like George. It does feel like it's
it was a good balance. It was just kind of like, like you said, like you're obviously not as invested in that coupling as you are in Julia and George. And like, like they were good too. So, but it was just like,
it's great. Just loved it.
So yeah, go see Ticket to Paradise.
Go see Ticket to Paradise. It's great. That's it, Joyce. I think we're gonna wrap up here. So this was fun. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about Causeway more because I've seen it by then. And Living we'll talk about, I think, right? Because you're gonna see it.
Yes, I'm gonna see Living with my guy.
Favorite left me in tears at Telluride, and I was like,
okay, when are you not crying?
Best Picture, baby. Let's go. We'll see if we get Living into the Best Picture.
Can you make a list of movies you did not cry at?
It's not that long.
You didn't at Till. You didn't cry at Till.
I didn't cry at Fableman's either.
Is that really a crying movie?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't think it's a crying movie. No, it was just like enjoyable. It was funny.
Yeah, it's very good. All right, Joyce, this is fun. Talk to you later. Bye.